Speaking of Kalkbrenner, good transition, Rob.
Hey, this is
You
why
just saw
I'm
Creighton.
on TV.
You just saw Creighton, and they have been on a tear.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I did not see this coming when I saw them in
So you
Vegas.
say that a lot about.
Yeah, well, nobody. I don't think Greg McDermott saw it coming with
No.
Creighton. Trust me, when they're in Vegas, and I kind of knew then that there was a chance Pop Isaacs was going to shut it down. I was talking to his dad, and remember they had lost like three straight. I think they lost to Nebraska maybe before they got
Nebraska, San Diego State, A&M. Yeah.
right, and then they end with a win against Notre Dame without Marcus Burton. So I didn't even give that much credit at that point because, then they lost to
But
Georgetown.
then they beat Kansas.
Right, and then Pop Isaacs shut
And
it
that was
down.
Pop's last game, and then
Yes.
he was done.
Yes,
But he had a
yes.
great game.
And I thought they were done. When because I'm just like Ashworth, I didn't know he could do this consistently. I felt like they were perfect together. They kind of shared point guard duties. But Ashworth's been awesome. Kalkbrenner's Kalkbrenner, man. He's like, I say underrated. Doster pushed back on me when I said underrated. He's like, how can he be underrated? He's player
No,
of the
I think
year.
he flies under the radar nationally. I think Big
Good.
East fans probably understand. Creighton fans appreciate him.
Right.
But I think if you're talking on a national scale, I think Ryan Kalkbrenner is underrated.
Because he doesn't say a word.
He's so quiet.
So quiet. He just does whatever you need him to do. He's so good defensively. And Jemiah Neal's been pretty darn good, right?
That was the thing. When that game was hanging in the balance, Jemiah Neal had 4 fouls. He comes back in the game, and it was like if you took an IV and just infused Creighton with confidence and swagger. That's what that was. He comes into the game, makes multiple plays, multiple shots, goes and gets rebounds at the end. And Ashworth is playing out of his mind, and Kalkbrenner has 2. Those 2 guys have been awesome, but who's going to be the third scorer? Right. And that's really my
I thought it was going to be McAndrew. I thought coming out of Vegas.
I did too. He's talented. Yep. My light just turned off over here. What the hell?
You're fine. It's probably
no. I know. I was thinking ghosts.
No, you're all right. At least you don't have a cat attacking you like the last time we did the pod. Remember from the Fairfield Inn, and
the cat was nice. He was purring.
He was not.
But yeah, Creighton, Greg McDermott, heck of a job.
Is it?
I'm kind of surprised he hasn't.
Is it partially though because the Big East isn't overpowering? Why they've been able to do some of this? I mean, they win at UConn. Obviously, they get this win over Marquette. Providence is down. Xavier hasn't been great. Villanova's down. They're a little bit of a product of the league, aren't they?
No, that's probably fair to say. But they've beaten St. John's at home.
Yep.
So they've beaten the best teams in the league. They've beaten
3.
St. John's. They've beaten Connecticut.
Yep.
So they've beaten Marquette now.
Can they?
The league is not deep, and the bottom is still. They shoot. I think they're scary because McDermott is a hell of a coach, and they shoot a lot of threes, and they've got a couple guys where you're like, man, Stephen Asher can make 8.
Oh.
He can make 8 in a game. And Kalkbrenner is just an all around great player. Jemiah Neal has really upped his level. McAndrew, I think, has the ability to play well. Hasn't been consistent, but you give him an NCAA tournament game, you tell me Jackson McAndrew makes 4 threes. I believe that. Right. I can see that happening. So yeah, I think they can make some noise in the tourney.